All right, so there's a pretty big debate going on in the Marvel Rivals community right now, and a lot of people are arguing about which characters are dive characters and what makes a character a dive character. There's actually people saying that Rogue is a dive tank. There's actually people saying that Angela is not a dive tank, and there's people saying that Psylocke is a dive and not a dive. So let's just start with the actual definition of a dive character. A dive character is a highly mobile character designed to bypass the enemy front line and rapidly attack vulnerable targets such as healers and snipers. Now let's just say, for example, that this Galactabot is the enemy support that we want to dive. This is our front line right here, and this is the enemy front line. Technically, as Rogue, we can dive. We hit E, we hit Shift, and then we hit E again. Half of our kit is gone, but we did technically dive. And I think this is where the discrepancy is coming in. People are confusing the action for dive for the role of dive, right? I blew half my kit to get in here. I blew half my lethality. If I use the rest of my kit to finish off the enemy support, now I'm stranded in the back line with no way out, and I'm gonna get popped like a balloon. However, if you compare that to Venom, who is a pure dive character, who is absolutely textbook dive, all he does is hit shift, and he's immediately in the enemy backline attacking. He instantly went over the enemy frontline head, and he's instantly attacking. And then when he starts getting popped, he has huge sustain. That allows him to buy time to get his shift back, immediately retreat back to his front line, and get heals. Textbook dive character, right? Then you have Psylocke. Psylocke's a little bit more of a hybrid. She's a little bit more difficult because she's more flanker than dive, but she can dive, technically. Yes, she could use her shift to get over the enemy front line and start diving and attacking, right? Is that ideal? Not really, because you're getting rid of both of your sword dashes just to get to the enemy backline, right? So you're better off trying to flank, whether that be going invisible and getting in from the side, or hiding behind a wall, running around behind a wall, behind cover. So that way, when you do get into the back line, you can use your combo and then get out, right? Ignore the misses because I'm absolutely shit, right, at PC. I suck. Compare that to Spider-Man. Spider-Man is pure dive. He's pure dive. He easily hits his shift. His shift doesn't do anything but get him into targets and away from targets, right? That's his whole thing, literally. He is a textbook dive character, absolutely, right? That being said, can he flank? Obviously, anybody in the entire game can flank. Flanking is a verb. It's a thing that you can do. You just go around the enemy team while they're not paying attention and you get behind them. But his kit is tailored to be a dive character with its hyper speed and burst mobility to get him in close to targets very, very quickly, right? And then you go back to Angela. People are debating her. She's obviously very clearly a dive character. I mean, she has omnidirectional movement. She has huge burst movement potential. She has ground slams. She can steal and kidnap people, things like that. She can literally do a lot, right? And then as soon as she starts getting hit, she can press E and immediately dip out, right? Now, like I said, she has multiple roles as well. Dive tank, bruiser, right? Whatever you want to say. For example, Daredevil is another example. People can be multiple categories. Daredevil is a flanker and he's a diver, especially with his Sonic Pursuit and his shift grabs, things like that. Being able to run up on the wall, sit on the wall, wait to ambush people, dive on them, flank, things like that, right? So I feel like people just kind of lack nuance and they kind of confuse the fact that there's a verb, you know, there's a word, it's an action that you can do, and then there's the rule. Like, again, technically Emma can dive. Emma can dive. Every character can dive. Let's say I'm on top of this bridge, the enemy team runs under me, I go diamond mode, I drop down, throw down a combo, dive their healer, kill their healer. I dove. That was me diving with Emma. I can dive with Emma. But look at her kit. It is not at all built for diving whatsoever, therefore she's not a dive hero. She doesn't have any type of mobility whatsoever. She's meant to be a tank, a frontline tank. She has no ability to dive, so she's not a dive hero because her kit doesn't incentivize it and exaggerate it, right? Any character who's meant to dive should have some very high level of mobility that allows them to get in and out of a backline without wasting all their lethality or without leaving them stranded. So I just wanted to make that video real quick and give my thoughts and opinion on it. I'm not saying that this is all factual. I'm a diamond player, you know, so I'm nowhere near the best. You know, you might want to listen to somebody who's at one above all or celestial. I'm just looking at this as a pure linguistic standpoint and a pure like logical definitional standpoint of what the characters should be doing for their roles. So that does it for this one. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree, but I think this is pretty simple to me. I think it's pretty straightforward, but I guess there's a lot of nuance that people, you know, may disagree or may push back on. But yeah, that does it for this one. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next one.